What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking about a webcam that I think is pretty cool, and honestly I think this camera is perfect for targeting streamers and gamers because its low light capabilities are actually out of this world. And I'm going to compare it to my Sony a6400, which I'm recording on right now, my Canon EOS RP, and my Insta360 Link webcam. They are all hooked up, and later on in the video I'm going to show you a side-by-side all four of these cameras and webcams so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But again, we're going to be talking about the Pixio StreamCube today. They sent me this to do a review on it, so we're going to plug it in and test it out and see what it's all about. But before we do that, let's go over some of the specs for the StreamCube. So the Pixio StreamCube is priced at $149.99, a little bit pricey for a webcam, but I think once you hear the specs, it's going to sound pretty good. So the max video resolution is 1440p, which is 2K, or 1080p at 60 FPS. The pixel size is 2.2. The lens max aperture is 2.3, which means that you can get a nice blurred background and stand off of the background quite a bit with this webcam. The focus range is 12 to 47 inches. The camera has a shutter button on top, which you can kind of bind to any action that you want, which I'll show you later on in the software. The connection type is USB 3.1 or higher, USB Type-C. It does have some built-in audio capabilities with a dual omnidirectional mic with a noise reduction filter, and like I said before, it supports frame rates of 1080p at 60 FPS, 2K at 30 FPS, and then of course 720, 480, and 360p. So those are some of the specs on the camera, but let's do a dive into the Pixio software and take a look at it. Now, usually your webcam would be visible right here in this black box, but currently I'm using it in OBS. It's the camera that you see right here, that you see me talking. This is the Pixio StreamCube that I'm currently using, so I can't be using it in two places at once, but I do want to show you guys the software. So basically, once you boot it up, you're going to be able to choose your Pixio StreamCube right here. So moving on down on the side here, we have some effects that we can do. You can use the zoom FOV to kind of zoom in and out the field of view of the StreamCube. You can flip it so that it's like upside down or basically mirrored, so like I would be looking that way if I'm actually looking this way. You can add a border, some transitions, but the real meat and potatoes comes in right here down when you hit the third tab on the left. This is where you're able to choose the resolution. Like I said earlier, it supports 2K, right? 1440p. So you can do 2K resolution at 30 FPS, or you can do 1080p resolution, and that will allow you to go up to 60 FPS. And then of course, obviously it supports 720 and 360p as well. If you want to do some portrait stuff for YouTube Shorts or maybe some TikToks or Instagram Reels, you can do some square resolutions here or portraits for, like I said, shorts. But for the purposes of this video, we are going to be keeping it on 1440p at 30 FPS. You can add a framing grid, which will basically make it so that you can, center yourself in the camera. Like I said, guys, remember, I'm recording with OBS right now and you're looking at me through the webcam, but normally your webcam would show up right here if you were using the Pixio Portal software to record. So you have a framing grid right there. You can set some hotkeys to basically start and stop recording. But again, you're using all of the Pixio Portal software for that. For most of you, if you're streaming and stuff like that, you're probably going to be using OBS. Like I have it hooked up to OBS right here. So really none of that is going to matter to you, but it's just pretty cool what they have available to you in the software. Scrolling down, there is a button on top of the camera. And you can basically select what action you want this button to do. A long press, you can set it to change from portrait to landscape, take a snapshot, turn off, enter exposure mode, mute the microphone, and then you can also set an action for like a quick short press on that button on top of the StreamCube itself as well. So as for the Pixio Portal software, that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, it's pretty cool that you have this stuff, but if you're using it to stream or record in OBS, you really won't be using this software all too much because all of these settings and everything you'll be messing with in the OBS portion itself. But let's jump back to a test screen where I'm going to be testing my Sony a6400 with a Sigma 16mm lens on it, my Canon EOS RP, my Pixio StreamCube, and my Insta360 Link webcam. So let's jump over. Okay, so for this test, I'm going to crank my lighting up to where it normally is when I'm recording videos. So I normally have my lighting set like this. All right, so let's give the cameras a second to kind of There we go. Okay, so this is where my lighting is normally set at. I use two Elgato key lights off to the sides of me right here. My Sony is right here. My Canon's right here. The Pixio StreamCube is right here. And the Insta360 Link is right there. So as you can see here, clearly the Sony and the Canon are like light years ahead of the others. But you're going to notice one thing here is that the Pixio StreamCube looks a little bit overexposed with this amount of lighting. Now, in my opinion, this webcam is marketed towards streamers and gamers, right? And what do streamers and gamers do? They game and stream, usually in very low light situations. So if I turn my lights off, watch how it looks. Upon turning all of my lights off, the StreamCube actually performs really, really well in a low light situation, which I think is absolutely awesome. And my lighting is just absolutely extremely bright because I'm using a bunch of DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. Now, if I crank my lighting down quite a bit, you can notice that it starts to look a lot better on the Pixio StreamCube. So this is basically my lighting as low as it can possibly go, and I think this thing looks phenomenal. The quality out of this thing for a $150 camera is pretty amazing. But yeah, I think that this webcam performs extremely well in low light situations, which is really important when it's marketed towards gamers and streamers. And you have this little lens cover right here, this Pixio lens cover. You can see it if I pop it up to my Sony. There we go. So this snaps right on the camera like this. Boom, it'll cover it up. So it's a nice privacy shutter and to keep the lens safe. I didn't realize that my Instalink camera went buck wild and is just moving on its own for some reason. Can you focus on me? There we go. Okay. Now it's focused on me. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so this would be a comparison. This is like ultra low light. In the Pixio StreamCube, it looks like I have lights on in my room, and I actually don't right now. I have them pretty much completely off. Now, if I put them back to where they were, my other cameras need quite a bit of light to look really nice. As you can see, like the Sony performs the worst in the low light, in my opinion, but when I turn the lights on, in my opinion, out of all four of these cameras, it's the best quality. The Pixio StreamCube clearly needs so much less light, which is really good and really, it's definitely good for gamers and streamers. It's going to help a lot with lighting situations. If you do have just one light, you can turn it to, pretty dim, and it's going to look great on the StreamCube. You don't want to have this much light like I have going right now because it's overexposed. And it's completely blown out. So the StreamCube does not require a lot of light, which I think is a huge plus for a camera that's marketed for streamers and gamers. So that is a plus right there. But yeah, I think for $149 value to get a 2K webcam, 30 FPS, or 1080p 60 FPS webcam, I think you can't go wrong. And I really want to thank Pixio for sending me this. They just sent me this camera and asked if I wanted to do an honest review on it, and that's what I'm doing with you guys. I think it's great. I'm going to incorporate it in my setup in some way. I might actually mount it up there on the ceiling and have it pointing down at my entire setup so that I can, like, hit a button and get like a nice aerial view of everything on stream. But anyways, guys, that's all I've really got for you today. So thank you all so much for watching. I want you to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I want you to keep those hammers up, and I'll see you next time.